Once upon a time, in the quaint coastal town of Lumina, where the ocean's whispers mingled with the rustling leaves in the salty breeze, lived a young woman named Elara. She was as much a part of the town as the cobbled streets and the whitewashed cottages. With her radiant smile, chestnut hair that flowed like a waterfall over her shoulders, and eyes the color of the sea, Elara was a sight to behold. But it wasn't her beauty that made her special, it was the way she seemed to belong to the sea. As if the ocean had imprinted its essence on her very soul. Elara worked at the town's small library, a place that held more dust than books, more memories than visitors. Each day she would tend to the shelves, her fingers grazing over the spines of old, worn novels, each one a gateway to a different world. She loved the stories they held, but more than that, she loved the stories of the sea. Her favorite time of the day was sunset, when she would leave the library, its bell tinkling as she shut the door behind her, and walked to the shore. There, she would kick off her shoes, letting the cool sand slip between her toes, and listen to the waves as they kissed the shoreline. It was as if the ocean were speaking to her in a language only she could understand. One evening, as the sun was beginning its descent, painting the sky in shades of pink and gold, Elara made her way to her usual spot by the shore. The air was tinged with the scent of salt and the faint hint of jasmine from the flowers that grew nearby. As she walked, she hummed a tune, a melody that seemed to blend with the sound of the waves. It was a song she had known since childhood, a lullaby her mother used to sing to her, its words lost to time but its melody forever etched in her heart. As Elara approached the rocks that jutted out into the ocean, she noticed something unusual. There, sitting on the largest of the rocks, was a man she had never seen before. He was a stranger in a place where everyone was familiar, yet there was something about him that seemed to belong. He was dressed simply in a white shirt and dark trousers, his feet bare against the rough surface of the rock. His dark hair was tousled by the wind, and he sat with a stillness that contrasted sharply with the restlessness of the sea. Intrigued, Elara hesitated for a moment, her natural curiosity battling with her sense of caution. It wasn't often that strangers visited Lumina, a town that seemed forgotten by time. Most people who came here were drawn by the serenity of the place, looking for a quiet escape from the chaos of the world. But this man didn't look like he was escaping anything. He looked as if he were searching for something. Elara decided to approach him, her footsteps barely making a sound on the sand. As she got closer, she noticed the man was gazing out at the horizon, his eyes fixed on the point where the sky met the sea. There was a sadness in his eyes, a deep longing that Elara recognized all too well. It was the same longing she felt whenever she looked out at the ocean, the feeling that there was something just beyond reach, something waiting to be discovered.
"Beautiful, isn't it?"
she said softly, not wanting to startle him. The man turned to her, his green eyes meeting hers. For a moment, Elara felt as if she were being pulled into the depths of the ocean, as if his gaze held the power of the sea itself. But then he smiled, and the tension in the air seemed to dissipate.
"It is,"
he replied, his voice smooth and calm, like the ocean on a clear day.
"I've seen many sunsets, but none quite like this."
Elara smiled, feeling the warmth of his words wash over her.
"The sunsets here are special,"
she said, sitting down on the rock beside him.
"The way the light reflects off the water. It's like the ocean is on fire."
The man nodded, his gaze returning to the horizon.
"It feels familiar,
he said quietly, more to himself than to her.
like I've seen it before, in another life."
Elara's curiosity was piqued. There was something enigmatic about him, something that drew her in.
"Are you new in town?"
she asked, trying to keep her tone casual.
"I haven't seen you around before."
The man hesitated for a moment before answering.
"Yes,
He said finally.
I just arrived. My name is Orion."
"Elara,"
she said, offering her hand. Orion took it, his grip firm yet gentle. For a brief moment as their hands touched, Elara felt a strange sensation, like a current of electricity passing between them. It was fleeting, gone as quickly as it came, leaving her wondering if she had imagined it.
"What brings you to Lumina?"
Elara asked, pulling her hand away and tucking a strand of hair behind her ear. Orion shrugged, a distant look in his eyes.
"I'm not sure.
He admitted.
I just felt drawn to this place. Like there was something here I needed to find."
Elara nodded, understanding the feeling all too well. She had lived in Lumina her whole life, but there were times when she felt the same pull, the same urge to find something just beyond the horizon. It was a feeling that had kept her by the sea, searching for answers in the waves. They sat in silence for a while, the only sound the rhythmic crashing of the waves against the rocks. It was a comfortable silence, one that spoke of unspoken words and shared emotions. Elara found herself glancing at Orion out of the corner of her eye, taking in the strong line of his jaw, the way his dark hair fell into his eyes, the way his fingers tapped a silent rhythm on the rock. There was something mesmerizing about him, something that made her want to know more. As the sky darkened, and the first stars began to appear, Orion turned to her, a thoughtful expression on his face.
Do you believe in fate, Elara?
Elara was taken aback by the question.
I don't know.
She said slowly.
I think there are things in this world that we can't explain. Things that happen for a reason. But I also think we have the power to shape our own destinies.
Orion nodded, as if her answer confirmed something he had been pondering.
I used to think fate was just a story people told themselves.
He said, his voice barely audible over the sound of the waves.
Being here in this place, it feels like more than just coincidence. But now I'm not so sure. Meeting you.
Elara's heart skipped a beat at his words. There was something in the way he said them, something that hinted at a deeper connection, a bond that went beyond the here and now. She didn't know what it was, but she felt it too, a pull towards this stranger, a sense that their lives were somehow intertwined.
I feel it too.
She admitted, her voice barely above a whisper.
Like we were meant to meet.
Orion smiled, a smile that was both reassuring and enigmatic.
Maybe we were.
He said, his eyes reflecting the light of the moon as it rose above the horizon, casting a silver path across the ocean. They stayed there, side by side, watching as the night unfolded before them, the stars twinkling above like tiny beacons of hope. For the first time in a long while, Elara felt at peace, as if the answers she had been searching for were finally within reach. She didn't know what the future held, but she knew one thing for certain: meeting Orion had changed something inside her. It was as if a door had been opened, and beyond it lay endless possibilities. As the night deepened, and the whispers of the ocean grew louder, Elara knew that this was only the beginning. The beginning of a story that was as old as time itself, a story of love, fate, and the power of the sea.